Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of the social media accounts. Also, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Now, the put to call ratio is really not that bad. It's still kind of low right now. So it's not at a really concerning level. It's at like 0.69. So it's still fairly low, but not like I said, not a concerning level. Now, this week we have a lot going on with CPI on Tuesday on the economic calendar. Tuesday morning at 8:30. We got Fed speakers. FOMC speakers on Tuesday in the afternoon, actually morning and afternoon, 11 a.m., 11:30, and 2 o'clock. Don't see anything on Monday except Bowman in the morning, but that doesn't matter. Wednesday, core retail sales in the morning. Don't see any Fed speakers right now. Then on Thursday, we have PPI, unemployment. We get FOMC member Cook speaking. Well, that's at 4 o'clock. The market will be closed on Friday. Don't really see anything. So, yeah, the PPI on Thursday, retail sales Wednesday morning, and Tuesday morning CPI. Those are going to be the big ones. So, definitely have to keep an eye on the pre-market action. Got VIX up right now. VIX had a tail candle on Friday, but had a little bit of a move on Friday, so we'll have to see. It did reject the 20 EMA on the weekly. We'll have to see what's happening this week if VIX will actually pop. There's a lot going on with UFO sightings and military shutting down airspaces. Just a lot of crazy things happening this week with that, and then the economic numbers, then the Chat GPT predicting a market crash on the 15th, which is what day I think of Wednesday. So get a lot of crazy unknowns happening this week, so we could see VIX pop. It is up there above 20. Did it close at? Yeah, it closed at 2053. So it did stay above 20. We'll have to see how it opens up overnight. But VIX, more unknown stuff that happens. Well, it seems like that no matter what unknown seems to happen, the market just doesn't seem to care and kind of shrugs it off. But at some point, it's going to start getting concerned and start paying attention. Plus, we have all these massive credit card debt going on. Retail sales will probably be affected by that. I mean, a lot of people are maxing out on credit cards, and debt's going to be through the roof. Bankruptcies are going to come in, and divorces and a lot of other things are going to end up coming out in the next few months, if not already. But with that said, getting back to VIX, I mean, if it does manage to get over 22, we're probably going to see probably a strong pop to 24, 26. Trend line right here is right at the 29 level. We'll have to see if it does manage to pop to that. So one thing I want to point out is usually whenever you have these green weekly candles right here, you end up seeing a pop, then a drop. See, it popped here. Same with it right here. Right here, we got a little bit of an upside right there. So we'll have to really see what happens. It's like I said, a lot of unknowns happening this week. The market's not looking good as far as the weekly. It did reject the 420 area. It didn't quite get the 424.19 area. Dropped, it popped, and it dropped back, pulled back down to the 20 EMA. So we could end up seeing a drop down to 400 or to even 390 this week. Now, if one of the things I'm thinking about is that you get the Chat GPT predicting market crash, and then you have Carl Icahn posting a huge bet that the market's going to crash too. So usually when a lot of people are on one side, market makers will end up putting the screws to those people. But one thing you got to also look at is that algo could create a panic. Chat GPT could create an algo panic, and market makers might not have a chance to even do their little market manipulation games that they do. That algos could actually drive the next crash in a panic. So I'm not saying we're going to get a crash. I don't know what will happen. I'm just curious. Be interesting to see what happens on Wednesday. So I don't know if market makers can save it, can do anything. Usually when there's one other time we had a full-blown, I think that's when Fed Powell took office back in, I think 2018, that we had an algo-driven panic sell. That algos just destroyed the market and setting off all kinds of circuit breakers and stuff like that. So we could end up seeing something like that. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if the algos and the market participants are going to take the chat GPT seriously or not. I don't know. It's a huge unknown, and markets don't like unknowns, but this market doesn't seem to care about the unknown lately, especially with Ukraine, Russia, tanks, UFOs, and chat GPT, economic numbers, interest rates, and debt ceiling. There's so many unknowns right now, and the market just doesn't seem to really care. But I think eventually it will. So with that said, again, I keep rambling, but I would watch it underneath the 405 area. If it does manage to get under 405, next big area will be 400. Then you have this 395, then 390 level right here. Well, 390, yeah. We'll just round down, say 390, 395, 390. Then you get the 385 area. Then you get 380. Not quite sure how far we'll go. Now, if we have a full-blown panic sell, we could end up seeing 370, even 360, maybe even 350. If there's something that does manage to happen, I don't know. But with that said, that's what I'd be watching for underneath 405. Also, from the bullish point of view, I'd watch it over 410 for push to 415 to make a push to the 420 area. If for some unknown reason market does end up taking off and gets over 420, we could probably see 425. Got a gap right here, right around the 420 area. 425, 430, and let's see what the 430 is right here. It's that high right there on the weekly. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Tons of unknowns happening this week. Take it one day at a time, one candle at a time, and just go from there. So that said, NVIDIA is one that I'd be watching. It's had a huge run up. It had a nice drop right here on Friday. Put in some red candles Wednesday and Thursday, and then a drop right here. Reached the RCT trend line on the weekly, pulled back, rejected that. So I would watch it underneath the Friday's low of 207 for push down to 205, 200, 195, 190, 185. Then you get the 180 level down here. So keep an eye on that. RCT trend line's way down here at the 180 level. Anytime price gets away from it, it likes to come back down and retest it. I don't know if we'll get down to the 180 level, but it could. We had all these candles right here outside the Keltner channel. Whenever you have candles that are full volatile outside the Keltner channel, end up coming back in like it did right here, and at least retesting the middle Keltner channel, which is the 20 EMA, and maybe down to the bottom of the Keltner channel, which is aligning with the RCT trend line. So NVIDIA could have some opportunities right there. BA is another one. TOS has been lagging really bad today. I don't know why. I might have to pause the video for it to load. Maybe not. It's loading. Got all these inside candles right here. A channel going from 215 to, we'll say, 205. So I'd watch it underneath 210. If it pushed to the 205 at the bottom of the channel, it gets below that. I could end up seeing it drop down to 200 to 195, 190, 185, 180. RCT trend line is right down here on the weekly, the 180 level. And the channel that's been going on for a year, 2 years, is down to the bottom of the channel. Top of the channel is down here at the 168 level. So have yet to really retest that, a meaningful retest. I mean, it did pull back right here and retest it, but when it pulls away, we haven't had any real retests on that. So plus all these candles are outside the weekly weekly Keltner channel. Did pull back in, but it closed above it. Definitely like to see it come back down and get back in line with the 180 level. Have to see if that will happen. Now Disney is another one. Now Disney rejected the top of the Keltner channel on the weekly. Had a nice huge candle right here. Deep red candle from earnings. I'd watch it underneath the 107 area for push down to. Let's see, we have any gap fills down here. We don't really have anything. Watch it for a push down to 106. Basically every $2, 104, 102, 100 being a big area, 98, 96, 98 is going to be a pretty big area with 100. So, which is right here. So that 100 to 98 level is going to be pretty big on the daily. So, and it's at the bottom of the Keltner channel. So we'll have to see if that will actually pull back to that or not. So definitely keep Disney on watch. Meta is the next one. Rejected the RCT trendline on the weekly. This was the earnings gap up. Stayed elevated. It did pull back a little bit, even though it is oversold on the hourly, so it could pop a little bit. But if it does pop a little bit, I'd still watch it underneath this 170. What is this lower candle right here? 173 area. On 173, I'd continue watching for a gap fill down to the 155 area, 150 area on Meta. So eventually, I think it will close the gap on that. So Microsoft is another one. God, toss is so slow. Inside down, three inside down. You got a candle right here, inside candle down right there. I watch underneath this 260 area for push down to the 255, 250 area. Has been a pretty huge area for Microsoft. It's been rejecting it right here, the 250, and right here. So popped above it, gets rejected, popped above it pretty substantially, then it rejected hard. So then it popped through it, stayed above it. So I'm looking to see if it'll come back and retest it again, the 250 area. So like I said, take it at 260 for push to 255, 250. If the market's in really bad condition, 245, 240, 240 would line up with this area right in here. Well, 235 would actually better. You see support right here, a little bit of resistance, and you get the bottom of the Keltner channel in the RCT trend line. So we'll have to see if it'll come back and retest that or not on Microsoft. Tesla. Let's see. Tesla just have a huge run up. All these candles are outside the Keltner channel. On the daily, I gapped up, had a red candle right here. I would be looking for it to come back and down and test the 180 area. So I'd watch it underneath 194 for push down to obviously 190, 185, 180. I get gap fills down here from earnings at the 150 area. So I don't know if we'll get down that far or not, but definitely looking at the 180 level for a pullback on Tesla. So we'll have to see what happens. Like I said, the market, a lot of unknowns this week, a lot of unknowns going on right now. Who knows what can happen and what will happen. We'll just, like I said, take it day by day. And that's why you need to be in the room. We'll make a game plan in the morning and go from there. So that's going to do it for the watch list. Thanks.